this is Professor Morrison, and I'm here today to talk to you about thesis statements. And you should be able to see the slide with, it says, easiest way to write a killer thesis statement. So a lot of times students are nervous about writing thesis statements because they're the most important sentence of any essay. But I'm here to help clarify things so that you hopefully won't be as nervous. So what is a thesis statement? Well, it is one sentence that is the very last sentence of your introduction paragraph that tells the readers the main points your paper is covering and what order they appear in. So you should have your subject, what you're saying about your subject, your argument, your standpoint, and a brief summary of the points that support your argument. Typically, there are 3 of those. And this main idea and 3 points to support it serve as a roadmap for the paper. So the reader knows what to expect when they're reading, and then you know how to structure your essay when you're writing, because each of those supporting points gets a body section. Typically, in a 5-paragraph essay, each one gets a body paragraph. When you start writing longer essays, there may be more than 1 paragraph in each body section. So, does every paper need a thesis statement? Yes, absolutely. Without it, you don't have a well-constructed essay. Where do I put it? It is the last sentence of the introduction paragraph. It should be only 1 sentence. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule for specific types of essays, but when those happen, you will know about it because it'll be in the assignment directions. Usually, it's just 1 sentence long. And you should allow it to be fluid and change as you make revisions in your paper. Your thesis statement probably will also need revising. So a strong thesis statement is disputable. Someone else who's also reasonable, mature, and educated could argue against it using facts and evidence and logical structure. Somebody could disagree rationally. It should also be focused, not too broad, not too narrow. Your position should be clear, and it should be relevant to the reader so that they're not bored. So a thesis statement is never a question. A thesis statement answers the question, what am I trying to prove? It answers how, it answers why, it answers what. It provides the logic of the paper, covers everything that you will be discussing in the paper because it all refers back to this 1 sentence. So when you have your thesis statement, you have your plan of development, that 1, 2, 3 at the end. You then have a topic sentence for each of those 3 items. Everything in those body paragraphs relate back to that topic sentence. The topic sentence relates back to your thesis statement. Everything then directs back to your thesis statement. And in the conclusion, you will have a summary of your thesis statement in different words. So there are some words that we never use in our thesis statement. The first one is very important. We're not going to use I in our thesis statement. Whenever we insert I believe or I think or I agree or I disagree, we weaken our argument and we lose a little bit of our reader's attention. That is not what we want. We want to remove ourselves from that thesis, and most of the time we remove ourselves from the entire essay. The only time you would ever use I in an essay is in a narrative essay. Anything else is completely forbidden. You is completely forbidden for all academic essays unless you are writing a process analysis, which we will not be doing often. Typically, process analysis is for how-to and recipes. We don't see this often. So just keep in mind, you're not allowed to use you unless specifically told that you can. We would not be something that we would use either in a thesis statement or in any type of essay other than narrative. Now, what if you've been assigned an essay with a narrative component, like a reader reflection in literature? then sure, you can use first person, but you still want to keep it out of your thesis statement. Now, we also want to avoid anything that makes us look uncertain, like might, maybe, perhaps. And we would not use extremism words like everything, all, none, always, or never. If you say everyone knows this, you've already lost your argument, because I guarantee you there's someone somewhere on a mountain or out at sea who does not know, and you've just been proven wrong. So you want to stay away from saying things like that. You also want to be clear, not vague, and we don't want to be exaggerating things, because then it's obvious that we are wrong. Now, there are words that we must use if they apply. If you are writing a thesis statement about a scientific study and its results, you need to give credit to that study, that research, right away, right up front. And we would want to, instead of saying everyone or always, we would want to use real qualifiers like many or most or a significant amount of people. And that way that shows that we're being rational and reasonable. We could say frequently or often instead of always. And we could show how ideas are connected by using words like because or since. And we definitely show relationships, impact, influence, tendency. We also want to make sure that we're using active verbs: demonstrate, illustrate, express, convey. We want to interest our reader, and word choice is a great way to do that. All right, so here we have 10 common mistakes in thesis statements. And this is just a preview of them. So we have a declaration of a topic, questions, Captain Obvious, falling between two stools, too many words, we really want to keep it around 25 words, making vows, otherwise known as announcements, very bad, random lists, I don't care that you don't care, random sentences, and ambiguity overload. I'm going to go over these 10 common mistakes in more detail in our next video.